Hey kids, this is Mark Arm from Mudhoney.
I'm Kevin Martin from Candlebox.
This is Nicole Alvarez from the world famous K-Rock.
Hi, I'm Dave Cruzen.
I am Matt Vaughn from Easy Street Records.
This is Richard Stuverud.
Hey, I'm James Joseph from James and the Cold Gun.
This is Jeremy Toback from the band Brad.
And this is the State of Love and Trust.
State of Love and Trust.
State of Love and Trust.
A Pearl Jam podcast.
Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Feed that algorithm.
Someday at Christmas, men won't be boys, playing with bobs like kids play with toys.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the State of Love and Trust. It's a Pearl Jam podcast, and I'm one of your two hosts, Jason Kerepesi, and alongside me, as always, is...
Paul Ghiglieri.
Wow, that was lovely. We are dressed to the nines as it pertains to the holiday season, is it not? Are we not?
Tis the season to be festive, joyful, and in the spirit of state of love and trust, triumphant.
Aha!
Yeah.
I have bedazzled my studio here with some candles over here. I got a U-log, some lights. I see your room. You got the tree up.
Yeah. I got the old Tannenbaum ablaze in the background.
Did you have to sing that when you were a kid, like a kid's choir kind of thing?
Oh God, I don't remember any of the songs that came out of those things.
Oh, Tannenbaum, Tannenbaum.
I'm sure that was on the playlist at some point.
That and Silver Bells, Silver Bells, Silver Bells. Sorry, we're not going to sing the entire time, but we are excited about Christmas or Hanukkah, if that's your thing, and just the giving season. And I got to tell you, Paul, I teased it last week. I know we love our winter solstice by our friends over Anderson Valley, and I will open this at some point. You already have, obviously. But I told you last week, an eggnog-based White Russian.
You did say that. Yeah, you did. You know, I ended up doing a White Russian a couple of days ago, and I added that peppermint bark liqueur to it.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's a dynamite, actually.
Very nice. By the way, in case I do run out of this, which I'm sure I will at some point.
Through the power of editing,
Daddy's got the re-up.
You will see.
Daddy's got the re-up right here. You know how it is. Okay. If you're watching at home, or wherever you're watching, really, you should be liking and subscribing to this video and channel respectively, hitting the bell for notifications so you know when new videos are coming out on this channel. And if you are old school listening to this ridiculous Christmas holiday-themed introduction, what should they do, Paul?
They should rate, review, and subscribe on the preferred podcast platform of choice. Please feed that algorithm. I don't need cookies. I don't need carrots. I don't need milk. That's not what it's looking for when it comes down the chimney. It wants your rates, your reviews, and your subscriptions. Feed it the same way Santa feeds those reindeer.
What is he feeding the reindeer? Because how else do they fly?
He is feeding them carrots, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
Olaf's nose. That's the only magical carrot I can think of. They all fly.
I'm thinking of some grade 1 narcotics. Something making those things fly. Anywho, like I said, it is the giving season, and what better way to give than to our December 2024 fundraiser, and that benefits Toys for Tots. B-roll on your screen, QR code on your screen, scan that MFR, or in the description of this video or the podcast, there is a link, and that will take you to our Instagram page where you can tap on donating buttons and send in some money. Give those kids a lovely Christmas, won't you?
Absolutely. And who knows? Maybe they can get some stickers. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic.
What kid doesn't like stickers?
I don't know where it went, but kids love stickers. Kids with parents' approval and administration love pins as well.
That's right.
I'm told. And $5 or more, you get a sticker and pin back from us. And the greatest donator this month, Paul, will get an Eddie Vedder mystery pack of goodies. So, Eddie Vedder birthday month. Let's give out a little Eddie Vedder action.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the Jelly of the Month Club. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year long.
I just snorted, and we're not even 5 minutes into this thing. If you want to be a part of a lovely community that we kind of started through this podcast, Patreon is the place to go, and Discord is the actual thing that you get by doing the Patreon.
Yep.
It's a little thank you to us, but really it's a great place to foster this community that we've created and the friendships and the discussions and the conversations. It's been amazing. It's been like a year and a half now, I want to say. 2 years. I forget how long it's been. But it's been really great over there, and we would love for you to join us. Patreon is the place to do that. We also do giveaways each month on top of the extra content that we give you. And this month, Paul, the giveaway to any patron, any level, this little guy. The
It's a
Record
beaut,
Store
Clark.
Day, 12-inch Black Friday thingamabob, live, waiting for Stevie, live wreckage
And
on that bad
wreckage?
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said before, we'll just throw in the old Dark Matter slip mat for funsies because why not?
Infidelity to fidelity. Parker cannot lose with those two.
Parker Lewis.
Parker Lewis cannot lose. Yeah.
Yeah, the Discord had a chuckle with that from last week. Parker Lewis, like these references. Okay, what else? Oh, last thing I'll do to shill in this holiday season. If you've got loved ones and you're like, they love Pearl Jam, but I don't know what to get them. Well, you could go ahead and hook them up with some sweet State of Love and Trust podcast merch. We've got we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we've got pint glasses and mugs, and no beach towels yet.
I mean, go
Ascots?
to
I don't
the
know.
official Pearl Jam store and get some legit merch. You got to have some of that. But if there's some space left over in the stocking, and you're saying, hey, you know what, I want to feel that sense of community. State of Love and Trust podcast merch, can't beat it.
Can't beat it. Saw one of our listeners got his rocks glass in the mail the other day.
Yes.
Looks fabulous. Very excited for you, Johnny.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it for the shilling. And if you're in the holiday mood, those are the options before you. And we appreciate you wherever you decide to spend your hard-earned money. Now let's get to the show. Let's get to the heat of the meat. Let's talk about, Paul, it is the giving season, like we said. So we had a couple of ideas here. One of which you had this idea for a wish list. You know, we a lot of people, including my family, will come together after Thanksgiving, maybe on Thanksgiving night, and say, okay, get your Christmas list ready for Santa. What's it going to be? And you write down all the things that you saw in the Target catalog or whatever, that you found Toys R Us catalog back in the day, and write down what you want Santa to bring you. And so we figured, you know what? In the spirit of that and in the spirit of the song wish list, let's put together a handful of wishes that we are looking for, Paul, right?
Yep, that's it.
Now, you had this great idea to have some guardrails up because otherwise we could be just all over the place with this, right?
We need the rails.
So what were the rails again? Can you help me out?
So I think a good way to look at this is to ask yourself, similar to what you might think of to get a loved one, and you might say, okay, what does my child, my loved one, what does he or she want? What does he or she need? What does he or she want to wear? What does he or she want to read?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I like it. A want, a need, a wear, a read.
That's right.
Okay. So with that said, why don't you start us off with your want?
My want. Okay. So I've given this a lot of thought. What I really want, I think, is the vault release from the No Code Tour.
Brett already told us it's not possible.
There's got to be a way. There has to be some way you can live on 10 legs Frankenstein this together.
Oh, well.
And there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be a specific show, but just to say, hey, vault release 1996, or
I love
a combo of 95 and 96.
And you know what, Paul? I think you're on the right track. I love it because that's the kind of thing where, next year is 95. The year after that's 96. If the band were thinking about an anniversary release to really get the people's juices flowing, they'd put together a nice little no-code package. Did not get a box set as the first three records did, as we all know, right? So maybe this is the opportunity to really kind of dive into the the stuff that's laying around there in the cutting room floor, in the vault that some people have seen. I'm winking.
It's
if you
there.
couldn't.
There's got to be something in there.
Got to be something in there. So I like the idea of maybe just take the tracks on no code and then go find your favorite available live cut from that tour and put the record together. Remember the Gigaton record came back out in a live format as well? Double disc?
Yep.
Huh? Timmy? Smitty? Boys? Huh? Will help. Anyways, my want is very simple, Paul, because I think yours is fantastic and we've been wanting that for a while, so it makes sense. My want is a little bit more specific to the next 6 months, and that is to go to a couple of shows.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, to the great American South, you must go, right?
That is the goal. That is the goal by plane, train, or automobile. Now, luckily, the fine folks in the community out there are very clever when it comes to procuring tickets that they didn't win lotteries for. In the lottery, by the way, the lotteries have come out. You know if you are going or not, or if you have to go through the artist pre-sale, or if you have to go to the fan-to-fan. So some of you are very happy, some of you not so much happy. I'm looking at it from the perspective of it'll be a game time decision. And I'm hoping that the gods are with me, that all the stars align, and that it's possible for me to go out there and go to a couple of shows. But we'll see. That's the want, though. You gotta aim big, Paul. You know, aim high.
You do. I mean,
I shouldn't be doing this, by the way.
Your bank account shouldn't be doing this.
Yes. Well, I was gesturing my arm gesture, but yes. Before we get into trouble here, what is your need, your wish list need for 2024?
I was blessed to bring my daughter to her first live concert experience, and it was a Pearl Jam show, which is it's just forever an indelible thing for her to remember and for us to have shared. I need this band to play long enough live for me to bring my son, and for him to have his first live concert experience be hopefully a Pearl Jam show, but if not his first, at least to have that experience so that we as a family can all say that we were able to share that. He's 5, right? So, I mean, bringing him to a show right now, I mean, certainly we have been to Pearl Jam shows and we've seen children as young as him at the shows, but I can't fathom keeping him awake and literally holding him asleep in my arms at the age of 5, just like fading. So and then, keeping him up to some ungodly hour and then dealing with the ramifications of an entire week. He probably won't remember the vast majority of the show at that point anyway. So, give me a couple more years and let's just keep hoping that the band is in love with and very passionate about what they've been doing all their lives and still has enough tours left in them to accommodate that very, very desperate need of mine.
I think it is going to be possible. I think, if my son going at 7, he did kind of fall asleep in the encore, but I think just pat in the 8. I think you're golden. I think you're fine at 8.
Yeah,
I think that's your number. So 3 years.
Based on the trajectory, I would be shocked if the band released an album in less than 4 or 5 years as it stands. So I
would be shocked if they didn't release an album in the next 3 or 4 years.
Really? I mean,
yes.
We had Gigaton in technically 2019 to 2020, right? That was the goal with that album. And then we just got Lightning Bolt in 2024.
You mean Dark Matter?
Dark Matter in 2024. So
right, but remember the guys were saying how excited they were, and Stone was like, "I'd love to get back in there." And there was word on the street that they were recording something in Australia. Like, I think there's enough.
Maybe. I still think the 4-year timeline seems to be wet. Look, I'm hopeful, right? But if it's 4 more years from now, then he's just that much older and it'll be that much easier. But nobody listening to this is like, yeah, let's wait another 2 years.
Remember what we said 2 weeks ago? This band has only not toured 1 year of their existence, 2017.
This is true. So
it may not be here. Maybe
that's the thing. Like
having a LA show. Or a San Diego show, whatever, All right, what do I need? I'm going to be a little selfish, Paul, for us. My need is that the algorithms work in our favor a little bit better so that more folks can find this fabulous show.
Oh,
That's what I need to happen. I need more friends. Oops, I'm hitting stuff. I need more friends to come under the tent. I need more people to know that. Because, like, listen, how many people, and just this year alone, were like, hey, I just found you. And I'm like, I love that you found us, but we've been here. What are the algorithms doing to hide us from people? So I want to make friends with the algorithms. And
I just think they need to be fed, Jason. That's why.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Gang, it's on you.
If only
We're passing the
somebody
buck.
would consistently remind listeners and viewers to feed it.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I got to work on that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now
I
we're
will
on
be
to
better in 2025. I will be better.
okay, with the pen of power. What is your wish for a wearing wish? What would you wish to wear?
Boy, okay, so this is a good one. Okay, this is a good one. You know what? I think I can make this happen.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. On the count of 3, I will tell you, nay, show you what I want to wear.
Okay.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my Lanta, what do we have here? A Pearl Jam Christmas sweater. You got the Pearl Jam logo. You got the stick man. You got snowflakes. What looks to be argyle of some type. You got Christmas trees, logos.
Yes. This is an ugly Pearl Jam Christmas sweater, but it is so beautiful.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I enjoy my wrapping paper suit, but you know,
you deserve one of these too. As a matter of fact,
yeah,
I just sent you one, Jason.
How?
Well, if you close your eyes and you wish hard enough, then open your eyes and look to your right. You might find exactly what we're talking about. Just believe it's there. Believe in it.
You gotta believe to believe. Okay, and would you believe it? What is this? Oh, you shouldn't have, you old salty dog.
From me to you.
Okay. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it, baby. If the ears fall out, the ears fall out. Let's see what happens. Oh, man. There goes the suit.
Jason has disrobed.
I'm disrobing. You know, that's got to go. I got my my accountant shirt on. This is the best part of the show, gang, when Jason gets dressed. So if you're listening only and not watching, you're missing out on some sweet, sweet getting dressed action. We need some music here. There we go. Some getting dressed music. You want to narrate to the fine people what I'm doing here?
And he slips his right arm through, deftly pulling the left arm through as well. Then, with carefully calculated motions, pulls the sweater down, adjusts himself, and just like that, Jason is officially clothed in an ugly but beautiful Pearl Jam Christmas sweater.
Da, 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 da. Look at me. I am you. We are us. Well, no, I feel good. My original answer before getting this fabulous thing was to wear one of those Mike McCready Strats.
That's a winning answer too. Not gonna lie.
But listen, now we both got the sweaters on. This is incredible.
Hey, look at us. Who would have thought, huh?
Can we cheers?
Not me.
Can we cheers? There we go. There we go. All right, last wish. It's what do you wish to read, my friend?
Oh boy, there are so many enticing and fulfilling options, but I can think of one in particular that I would not only like to reread, as all classics are deserving, but it's one that I would like and feel should continue to gift to others, and that is this amazing tome right here. I Am No Guide.
This one?
Pearl Jam song. Yeah, that one. How about that?
Fabulous.
Specifically the one that says, Jason, thank you for helping me to rediscover a voice I had stopped using just in time to make its way to these pages. I am in your debt.
Paul,
step.
Thank you for recording the podcast. That's a fun game, making fun of his mailing issues. Okay.
No, absolutely. I Am No Guide, Pearl Jam, song by song. This is requisite reading, as I like to call it. Any serious Pearl Jam fan should absolutely grab this book. If nothing else, you can vehemently disagree with every single take in this book, but it will activate your senses when it comes to thinking about Pearl Jam's music in new and exciting ways and creating opportunities for discussion and reflection and Stipp's insights are very provocative in the best of ways, and they will pique your interests and they'll get you thinking about the band's music, I think, on new levels that you had never considered before, and it will pull levers in your understanding of the band's catalog that you never thought existed. So please, get yourself a copy of this.
You know what that book is? You know what the writing is in that book? That writing is like if your thoughts about the band's music was yeast, his words are like the sugar in hot water. Activates, you know?
Love the metaphor.
It came to mind. You know, baking Christmas cookies.
Yeah, it's good. Timely.
Loaves.
Very apropos. Loaves.
I don't know. Okay, my wish to read. Again, I'm going to be a little selfish here. You know, I want to give tons, but I also want to get a little something. And for me, that thing is to read an email saying that one of the band members is ready to come on the show.
Oh, well,
that's what I'm ready to read.
That would be a stupendous and monumental development.
Gents, the door is open.
The door is open.
We won't bite. Unless you want us to.
No, they don't want us to. So
no. All right. I'm curious what you guys would wish for based on these terms. What do you wish to want? What do you wish to need? What do you wish to wear? What do you wish to read? Tell us online. Tell us in the comments, in the description, in the Discord, wherever you want to talk to us. Tell us your wishes. They're always great. We always get great responses.
Love the responses. They always get me rethinking my own, which is what I appreciate.
Now, one thing that a lot of us, at least the 10 Clubbers out there, loved was the fan club single, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And that unfortunately went by the wayside a handful of years ago.
Sadly, it did.
I mean, the last one was from 2018, though we got it in like 2021.
As was the custom for well over a decade.
Well, it got me thinking. I was like, you know, what if they just called us up and said, you know what, we're going to revive it. And we want you to pick the music that goes on this thing. 7-inch, 2 sides, basically 5 minutes a side is the 7-inch limit. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of left at like one song aside, more or less.
Yep.
What would you do? So we made our own holiday singles, guys. They're back. The 7 inches are back. We're making them from us to you. You just gotta, put them together yourself if you have the tracks, and it's gotta be digital. So sorry, but we did get help from one of our patrons, Pete Sprules. He made the cover art for what would have been the actual gate sleeve for this single, because we are effing nerds, people, if you didn't know. So, Paul, do you want to lead us off, or should I lead us off on this single?
You and I are nerds. Pete is a studly champ. The artwork here is fantastic.
By the way, Pete is also the model on the homepage of our store.
Right?
Yeah. He's a jack of all trades.
He sure
is. Okay. So, you want to go first, or want me to go first?
I don't know. Let's see. A jingle, a jangle, jingle, jingle, jangle. Let's have you go.
Okay. So my side A, the main track here, for me is going to be a cover. And it's going to be a cover of an old song. And that song is called Lonely This Christmas. It is a Christmas song by this English glam rock band called Mud. Never heard of him before. I was Googling like Christmas songs, and I'm like, okay, all the usual whatnots. I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's Mud? And I go, Lonely This Christmas. That sounds like something Ed would write, or at least want to cover. So then I looked it up, and it topped the UK singles chart in 1974. It sold over 750,000 copies, and it was the Christmas number one. And if you don't know what Christmas number one is, go back and watch the movie. What's the movie called again? Oh my God, why am I blanking on it? One with Keira Knightley and England. Love Actually. There you go. Jesus Christ, Jason. So Love Actually, Bill Nye's character, the old fart rocker, has that Christmas number one against the boy band, and he wins, right? That's like a whole fun thing they got over there in the UK, which I actually really is a great idea, I think. So it won that thing. Yeah, it's cool. They got a little doo-wop thing going on in there. I think, Mike could do something fun with his guitar and the wah pedal to kind of mimic that. You've got, I think it's the right key for Ed's voice, right in his wheelhouse. And I think it's got heartache. Like I said, Ed loves talking about and singing about heartache. They did such a great job of covering that Stevie Wonder song, Someday at Christmas. Is it even Stevie's song, or did he cover it?
Oh, God. I think he covered it too, but I'd have to go back.
Okay, so it's somebody older. But anyways, Someday at Christmas was you said it before, it's a fantastic song, Christmas song.
Yes.
Regardless of Pearl Jam doing it. So they like to take these obscure songs and cover them, and like they did with Last Kiss as another example. So why not cover Lonely This Christmas by Mud as your A-side?
I think that is an outstanding idea.
It's fun.
It was very fun. And it's been a long time since we got like a bona fide Christmas song release from the band. I added, because I have my own Christmas song playlist, right? Mm-hmm. And I throw all the Pearl Jam Christmas themed tracks on there as well. And it just dawned on me, it's like, of all the Christmas, there was a period of time early in the career where I felt like every year it was like, well, it felt like a true Christmas song. You know what I mean? Whether it was a rockin' out instrumental, Jingle Bells, or, you got Someday Christmas.
Santa God,
Strangest Tribe, you know what I mean? Let Me Sleep. All
Don't
of them
believe in Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually we kind of got away from all that. So the idea that they would bring it back with like true spirit of Christmas, I think would be pretty cool. And, all that being said, though, it's possible that they kind of moved away from the idea of it being a Christmas song or a Christmas single, more holiday. I don't know. Hey, I can't speak for the band. You know what I mean? They had their reasons for doing what they did. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they are, but
extra work.
Could have been.
They didn't want to do the work. And I understand that. That makes sense.
We weren't doing it, so we can't really judge them for it. So.
All right. So what's your A-side?
Oh boy, my A-side. Okay, so I'm going with a Christmas-themed song, but not in the way that you did, which I love, by the way. So it's not an actual Christmas song. I'm taking Wishlist off of Yield, and I want a proper release from the Yield tour, specifically Melbourne in '98.
Oh,
so I want to take that specific show and that specific release, Melbourne '98 Wishlist live. Here you go. How You Be, You People of the Sea. I'll never forget that intro to it. So,
what? Yes, that was a great show. What about the performance did you particularly like?
It's my number one performance of the song. So
is that our live cut, by the way?
That was our live cut. Yeah.
Let me get the actual date here. Or do you have it readily available?
Let's see here.
What have we got?
Off the top of my head, I have to dig
March
it up,
5th, 98. March 5th, Melbourne. Okay, there you go. Love it.
There you go.
All right, so my B-side it's another cover, but it's a live cut. It is the song Let My Love Open the Door from the second of the two Washington, D.C. Voters for Choice shows, 1995. It's the response side to the A track. We don't have an official soundboard recording of this yet. Just a very decent audience recording. So it's also one of the first Jack Irons shows, which I think is really fun. And I think the message here is key, as well as we head into this new year where, many of us are apprehensive of how, things are going to go and how we're going to interact with others who disagree with us on certain things. So I think it's just a reminder to think of love first when approaching a conflict. So I like this song for that. I think the 30th anniversary of this show and the fact that there hasn't been a soundboard release of it kind of ties into why it'd be nice to kind of pluck this thing out, give it the Brett Eliason treatment, and stick it on the B-side of Lonely This Christmas.
Very cool. I think very thoughtful, intentional. Appreciate those two. Honestly, if they went in your direction, I would very easily catapult that Christmas release as, top 10 for sure.
Love it. All right.
Yeah. Fully
Cool.
on board with that. Love
All right,
those
what do you
ideas.
got?
I'm going to go to the Pearl Jam anniversary show in East Troy, Wisconsin. And I'm going to pluck Stardog Champion out of that show. And I'm going to take that Temple of the Dog gem and I'm going to pair it. I'm going to pair it with Wishlist. And I just think the two of them make a super, super cool combo. We get vintage Pearl Jam, Wishlist, obviously, it's like Dave, a Christmas wish list. And I think that everybody listening wishes that we had a little bit more Andy Wood in our lives these days.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a great, great homage to Pearl Jam's roots. And to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, you could do almost like a live boot of just take the Temple songs from those two shows and make it its own release. I mean, first of all, the shows are fantastic. And, you could do another re-release. And even though a lot of the Temple songs would be repeated on there, you'd get all those other tracks from those two shows. So not that I'm trying to, come up with creative ways for Pearl Jam to continue to, find ways of releasing material just to make money, because that's not what they're in the business of doing. But I love the idea of just taking those Temple songs and saying, hey, you know what? Here's Pearl Jam doing Temple of the Dog. And
and not to burst your bubble, but I think the reason why that might not happen is because as Temple songs, the licensing of that goes through a certain estate that's kind of at odds with other parties, and so there's a bit of an issue.
We got Reach Down as a release.
We did. That's right. That was what was that? 03? No, that was from 03. But when did it come out?
I forget what year now.
It was from the Santa Barbara show.
The 45 up. But my point is just that I think Stardog would be just a really
it's great.
cool.
And that's not a Temple song, so that could be totally fine.
Yeah.
Although, funny enough, there is a box set of Temple of the Dog that has like a DVD in it, and it includes a few of the Temple songs from PJ20. It's the only place that has that.
Interesting.
So maybe there is room for that. But anyway, Stardog Champion is a great track to add to that. I think it's lovely. Okay, so we've got our two songs a piece here, one side and the other side. So what's the art going to be? Well, I'm going to show you mine, Paul, that I designed with our friend Peter. Here it is. What do you make of that?
Oh, fantastic.
So the main side is actually the right, because how it folds, right? Lonely This Christmas. You've got this, for anybody who's not watching, you've got basically a skeleton wearing like a little Christmas sweater type thing with a hat, and he's staring at, I think, what is it? There's like a fireplace in the background. You can't really see, but there's a
Christmas tree. It looks like
Christmas tree. It's a dark room. There's mistletoe hanging over him, but there's nobody there for him to kiss. And there's a candle.
It's like he's been waiting, and like he died waiting.
He died waiting for love. Well, waiting for Stevie. And then on the back, you've got the artwork that would depict "Let My Love Open the Door," which is this shadowy silhouette opening these giant, 600-pound doors from like some massive estate, and there's a glowing heart in the distance that he's trying to get to. So it's pretty on the nose, but I like it. So there you go. Lonely This Christmas / Let My Love Open the Door. That's my artwork. And for you, Paul, let's see what you got. Ooh, there's a pup
with a Santa hat on. Love this.
With a Santa
Fantastic.
hat on. Can you describe what's going on here?
Well, I mean, we get the wish list, right? And you get this like temple motif, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you Temple of the Dog. I mean, both images on both sides kind of feature that. And on one hand, it's kind of it's the track listing, but almost as like a wish list scroll.
It's a scroll,
and then you get the dog, which is, I mean, if that isn't the kind of image that like Jeff would put on an album, I don't know. That's exactly what he would do, is a dog with a Santa hat. You know what I mean? I think Pete just nailed this right here. So
that's great.
Hats off. Santa hats off to you, Pete.
Santa hats off. All right. So that was going to be the episode, but then we thought, you know what? Let's do a mailbag. End of the year. Yeah. Let's round it up. And I said, let's have the patrons submit the questions. Like Gen Pop has their fun. No offense, Gen Pop, we love you. But the patrons, let's have them ask the questions. What do they want to ask us? We'll answer it for them, and we'll just kind of pick some at random here and give our answers. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's start with Johnny Savoy.
Okay.
Johnny Sav. He says, I go back and listen to your early episodes and I feel you can see your progression, more confident, great guests. What are your biggest learnings on this journey?
Gosh, like what have I learned the most about myself, about the show, about the community, all of it?
I guess. I don't know.
I think what I've learned about the show is how the concept of community is essentially the bedrock of what Pearl Jam's music is ultimately about. They have created something. The ambitions of their creative output has expanded far beyond them to the point where it's not that they aren't. Still the fulcrum, obviously, that they are the creators of the music. But 100 years from now, their music will still reverberate and resonate. I think that the community that is built around the band's music, this show has shown me the far-reaching impact and affect that community can have on its members and on the world around it. And I'm not specifically talking about just our community, but the ability for us to create a community within a community centered around the band's music, I think is pretty powerful. And for there to be so much positivity and goodwill and respect, I think that's an important piece of the puzzle too.
Oh yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, when I participate in the Discord, when I observe the communications and the correspondences and the dialogue and discourse in the Discord, it never ceases to amaze me that it's literally a microcosm of so much of what I wish most of society was like. You know what I mean? Just
yes.
Civil and respectful and fun and I don't know. I just think that I've learned a lot about the power of community through the show. To be honest with you, what have I learned about myself? What have I learned about the band? It's been what a ride, Jason, we've been on. We've had the chance to talk to so many amazing people who were affiliated with some major signature moments throughout the band's career. And we've learned so much about those moments, about the band as people, so much about the community, the context of the times in which we shared with them, which we've lived with them as fellow Americans and citizens of the world. So it's been amazing, quite frankly. What have I learned about myself? Oh, God, that's a tough one to answer. If that's the slant we want to take, I think I've learned that I still have much to learn. is what I've learned through this show. I find consistently that I revisit our shows and I always think what I could have done differently. And to Johnny's point here, go back and listen to the first 5 episodes and then listen to the last five episodes.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see growth. And I think that it makes me excited to think that for as long as we will continue doing this, it's an opportunity for continued growth for me. And I find that compelling and exciting. And so I'm up to that challenge, and I look forward to growing until the very last episode, whenever that comes.
I will say, when he asked that question, I took it to mean the show specifically. I did not.
I hope no, that's great. I hope you take that slant because it's a different way to look at it than us. And quite honestly, like you have put so much into this production that is the show. I mean, this used to be like me in a closet and you at one point in a closet and then a bathroom recording, and look at what it has become. And so much of that is due in significantly large part to your efforts and vision and creativity. So I'm glad that you took it that way.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, to that point, one of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey is that the show almost always isn't live, and that if something isn't feeling right, if I feel like there's a mistake that I've made, of which there are many, I can stop and I can restart and I can make my point fresh and I can edit it together and make myself sound coherent, which happens more than you might think. And that's okay. And part of that is that I am human and our guests are also human. And that's something to remember when they come on. And so you might at the beginning feel intimidated, or I might feel intimidated by certain guests that come on because of their stature in this community or whatever. But over time, you start being desensitized to that cloud that you've applied to them. And you realize when you talk to them about a topic that we all share a fondness for, you realize they are just humans. Maybe they made the thing, or maybe they were a part of the thing, and that's impressive to you, or that you're a fan of what they did. But they also have brought their clothes to the laundromat and been missing quarters and been pissed off about that, or they've had to go run errands and pick up milk, and the milk wasn't there that they wanted. And there's always, everyone's got their own shit, and everyone is just human. And so when you think about it from that perspective, it's like it makes some of these interviews that we do so much more easy, because you can just say, I can be myself. And that's why they came here. They wanted to be here. So just be yourself. Well, that's what I'm taking away from it. Yeah. All right, what else we got? This is a quick one. I'm just gonna say out of the gate. This is from Chris Saylor. He says, you're writing a Pearl Jam jukebox musical for Broadway. Which songs are you including? Chris, I love this. I'm not going to answer this now. We'll do a whole show for you.
There's a whole show, right?
There's a whole show.
And kudos for a question like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously. Rosemary, Olive Marland. Choose one lyric from any Pearl Jam song to sum up your year. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to take one off of my holiday single here. I wish I was the full moon shining off of Camaro's head.
Go on.
On so many levels for me, that lyric sums up my year in the sense that there's been elements of beauty, there have been elements of nostalgia, there have been elements of just like naturalistic euphoria, there have been elements of darkness, there have been elements of darkness needing to be illuminated and the power of light shining through. It's been a year of a lot of change for me, I think. But more importantly, it's been a year of just kind of appreciating the little things in life and finding beauty in the ordinary, which is essentially what the extraordinary is, right? Is being able to find beauty in the ordinary. And I've talked about this in the past on the show. This idea of like true beauty and to some degree finding real happiness lies in our ability to see beauty in normalcy, to see beauty in the ordinary, to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, if you will. So that moment of the full moon shining off of a Camaro's hood, to be able to find that as arresting as I do, and to live in that moment and say, man, it's good to be alive, just to see. Especially if
what's around that is chaos. You have that moment of.
Correct. Yeah, to have that moment. And sometimes that becomes almost like essential is the ability to do that. Like there's times where it's like, wow, like this would elevate life. And then there's times where the ability to do that is almost essential to truly like, not just elevate life, but just appreciate it and feel like you can endure it, if you will, at times. So, I would say that's a line that really stands out to me.
I think we are looking at this past year in a similar fashion in that I feel like it's been a really great year for the show, but also at the same time, it's been a tough year in some ways personally. And then you have like this macro look of things with our country and the division that we have and the uncertainty of what lies ahead. And you've got finances and you've got kids growing up and they're they're starting to come across the conflicts that you had come across in school, and then you got to remember, how did I deal with it? There's always little things called life that kind of build. And at the same time, on this parallel track is this show, which has gotten more and more attention, and we're so grateful for that, and all of you for helping us push the train up the hill. I think I can. So the lyric is, because I'm a very emotional person. I'm hard on sleeve. I'm very much like, huh! You know, something bugs me or something makes me happy, and I go, huh! Yeah, and I react. But I'm learning to not react as much.
You must
and to
respond, my friend. Yeah.
Temper. You know, be mindful. What's that? Demure, mindful. I'm old. I'm behind on the memes. Demure, mindful. Yes. So I'm really trying to be more in the moment and being like, okay, perspective. Hold on a second. And it's that perspective, that thought process is great for life as it is for the show. And so that's my lyric is don't react.
Don't react.
This is a very personal one because some people are better at it than I am. But don't react, respond.
No, I think that's fantastic. I think we could all do more of that. So.
Yeah. Okay, here's a relatively easy one. This comes from John Schultz from the great state of Illinois. Aside from Dark Matter, obviously, what is some new music that was released this year that you've been listening to and enjoying?
Sadly, I have not added a lot of new music to my catalog in the last year. I went back to recently added on iTunes, and it's like even in the last year, I can count on two hands how many even individual songs from a lot of artists I actually added. But in terms of albums, I did add 2 albums this year, and I hope to multiply that by 10 in 2025. If not more. But 2 were Candlebox's The Long Goodbye. I really enjoyed a deeper dive into that record and
a longer goodbye.
And a longer goodbye, right? So that one I'm very grateful for. It has grown on me to the point where I count it among their best. And the other one would be Anne Boleyn's Vega. And so they released a series of EPs, and they finally kind of combined a lot of it into one larger full-length album, and Vega is what they called it. So there's not a lot of new music on there, to be perfectly honest with you. But if you kind of wanted all of it in one place, it's a band I've always appreciated. They're a very, very unique and different sound from what Pearl Jam does, but I just think that the percussion on it is fantastic. Well, honestly, the drummers is one of the most underrated drummers I think you'll ever find in today's music scene. But I just think that they do a fantastic job of putting together great music and doing something a little different. And so those are 2 that really stood out to me. Okay.
I'm going to rattle off some here and not really get into them because I think a lot of us either know these records or you can just always pause and add them to your library if you feel like it, and we'll get to the next question because there's more I want to get to. So here we go. Here's a short list. Well, shortish. Jack White's No Name, Bad Nerves, Still Nervous. I know you're gonna love this one. Idols, Tank. There's a new band on Loose Groove's record label, The Deception. They have an album called We the People. Miles Kennedy has a new album called The Art of Letting Go. Cardinal Black's album, it's an EP, Welcome to the Valencia. A couple new artists that I love. Grace Powers, what an incredible guitar player she is. She's like 17. She's absolutely murdering the guitar. She's great. This band called The Alive, they played Easy Street a few months back. They are tremendous. The Painted Shield 3 record, Tim Montana's record, Savage. Early this year, Thunder Pussy put out their second album, I believe it's the second album, West. If you like the band Thrice, their lead singer, Dustin Kensrue, had his own solo album come out. It was kind of country-ish called Desert Dreaming. Very, very cool. The Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards. Great album. Slift. They're a French power sludge rock band from Marseille, France. Ilian is the name of the record. Slift, Ilian. The Melvins, Tarantula Heart was a great record. And then Green Day, Saviors, I think was a great record as well. So some of the records that I've really been enjoying this year, there's more, but this is a little piece. So go ahead and add all of those if you don't already have them. I implore you. All right. What else we got here? Who hasn't had a question yet? I'm going to come back to that one because that's a good one. I'm going to give you a yes or no question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is from Jill Rayner Holcroft. How important is it that your children like Pearl Jam?
It is critical that my Pearl Jam,
Critical.
critical that my children like Pearl Jam. To me, it's to not like the I talked about community, to not like something that can have an impact like this, such a positive impact, I think is it's missing out. So I don't like the idea of my kids missing out.
Me either, and I think we're in good stead though, because I think both of our kids do ask for Pearl Jam in the car on the way to school. So I think we're okay. Hopefully that doesn't fall off at any point. They just always kind of hold it in their hearts. I mean, I remember listening to Michael Jackson and Aerosmith and Earth, Wind & Fire and Led Zeppelin when I was like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Growing up, my mom would put it on in the house. My dad put it on the house. And I still hold those artists dear. And for good reason, because they crush. But like, I'm hopeful that my kids' appreciation for Pearl Jam remains. And because if not, we're bad parents, really.
Yeah.
Right? We failed. All right. What else we got here? What else? Who hasn't had a turn? Here's a quick one for you from Johnny Sav again. David Letterman inducted Pearl Jam into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame almost 8 years ago now. Jesus. Who do you think it should have been if it wasn't Letterman? I have one answer.
If not Letterman, who should it have been?
I mean,
like you want to pick somebody like, not maybe you don't, but I mean, somebody that comes to mind would be either like somebody like Neil Young.
Bing, there it is.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest one.
I was thinking maybe Tom Petty too, but I think Neil is the more, because he's the guy that like put him under his wing really early. Yeah. Was like, guys, hold on, guys, and then got him through with Mirrorball and Merkin Ball and got him through to the. I think that's the guy. Let's see who else. Peter, our artist, Peter. Here we go. From a Pearl Jam perspective, and then from a State of Love and Trust pod perspective, what was 2024 the year of?
We didn't know what we were going to get with Dark Matter. So I think in many respects, 2024 was the year of, quite frankly, of Pearl Jam. I mean, we're talking about a band who's nominated for Grammy again, multiple Grammys. We're an album, 3 Grammys. We're talking about a band who created what many have argued is one of their greatest albums, which is an impressive thing to say for a band that's been around as long as Pearl Jam has. Mm-hmm. Talking about a band that went on tour and is continuing to go on tour, and they're continuing to sell out arenas all across the globe. Talking about a band who did something very new when it comes to their live experience with those digital backdrops. And I mean, I think this was the year of a how do I say this? Almost like a reimagined Pearl Jam in a lot of respects.
Reborn?
I don't want to say reborn per se, because so much of Dark Matter was kind of like reaching into not the past, but you got a producer that like was a fanboy, you know what I mean? Who was kind of like channeling so much of what the band had been and had accomplished, and kind of not repurposing it, but finding ways to re-inspire the band through those levers. And I felt like they just kind of found a way to reimagine both themselves and the live experience of seeing them play.
I would say my answer for both the band and for us, 2024 was the year of vitality and gratitude. I think to what you just said, the band putting out this record 33 years in at the time, I guess, right? in it being what it was, and then this tour that came out of this, and this momentum that they still have going into 2025, it feels like a snowball. Because sometimes some people were like, yeah, Gigaton was good, but yeah, okay. I mean, this is, latter half Pearl Jam. Okay, they're still selling out, but okay, fine. Dark Matter was like, oh shit, I didn't realize they could still write like that. And I'm like, yeah. If you've been to the live shows, they still have that spark. Maybe you didn't find that spark in previous few records, but it's here with an exclamation point on it with Dark Matter. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that's kind of us too, where it's like, I feel like we've had this spark the last few years. Maybe it's the advent of doing video. I don't know. But this year has been very fruitful for us. And now I feel like the snowball is rolling for us. And I feel like 2025 is going to be even more for us, but for the band as well. And so vitality and gratitude.
I like it.
Let's do a couple more. Let's do, oh yeah, from Rosemary again. If you could have one band member around for Christmas dinner, who would it be and why?
This is an impossible question, right? Because I mean, there's no right answer, but there's also no wrong answer.
No wrong answer, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who would it be and why?
Who's the least wrong answer?
Honestly, it would be Mike.
Ooh.
It would be Mike.
How come?
Well, first of all, if you listened to last week's episode, there is I think I adore every member of the band, and I think it would be a privilege and an honor to host any of them for Christmas.
What would you make, by the way?
I wouldn't change the calculus there. I mean, I'd have to be respectful of their dietary needs and wants. And
assuming that they eat anything, what would you make?
I mean, you have to either probably a Christmas turkey, right? Do a Christmas.
Is that what you
turkey.
make? Christmas turkey?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's not something that we always do consistently. It's not like
really
every year. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll do a ham. Sometimes we'll do like a like a kind of like a almost
you ever
like
do prime
rib? Prime rib. Sometimes we'll do.
You do duck? That's tough. It's hard. It dries out so fast.
I know. You got to kind of
very
jump
hard.
in on it. You'd be gamey if you don't cook it.
I know.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
So Mike, yeah, sorry.
Mike. So I would have Mike over just because I think that I would really enjoy just kind of like geeking out with him on music and putting on records and just BSing with him and just rocking out and like listening to him just unpack these solos and these albums and let's talk about Montrose's debut and I'm going to put Van Halen on right now. Let's talk about why this debut is like top 5 ever. And, it'd just be a lot of fun. You know what I mean? It'd just be a lot of fun. And I mean, just the guy's guitar playing is just legendary. So.
Well, I'm glad you said guitar playing because my choice is Ed purely because I view, and I'm saying Christmas Eve, because I always view Christmas Eve as and I know our Hispanic friends out there also consider the Eve more of the holiday than day is. I'm with you. I think that Eve is really where it's at because there's so much anticipation because it hasn't happened yet. So you're stoked for it to come. And I think with that nighttime, it feels very the spirit of the holidays in the air. You got eggnog, drinks are flowing, your belly's stuffed, and then this storytelling happens, and then maybe the piano comes out, or the guitar comes out, you start singing some tunes, and I feel like he's the guy that would absolutely make that 1,000 times more interesting and enjoyable. Not that any of the guys wouldn't have a great time. And I wouldn't not have a great time cooking for them. You're all welcome at the house, guys. Just come on over. But I think Ed would be the most interesting choice of the bunch.
It'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I could re-answer that question with a different answer every year.
Absolutely. Yeah. For the next 5 years, one for each guy.
Exactly.
Top 3 books every Pearl Jam fan should read? Besides Steps of Work, of course.
Well, that's one of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say top 3 without this one. I mean, what do I have on the shelf here? You know what I mean? Like,
How about this guy?
I think,
Yeah, this one here.
yeah. Well, I have that one. I love Brad's book. You know, I think looking at it's the art of Pearl Jam that I think is so fascinating. So Danny Clinch's work, Brad Clausen's work. So I think it's important to like unpack the songs. I think it's important to connect with the music through the artwork that has kind of shaped the show going experience as well.
Sure.
So I would say that, you know, like this is your deep dive into the music itself.
Right. Yep.
And if you love going to Pearl Jam shows and you want to understand like what all the fuss is about, like I think the artwork is such a big deal. And it's a showcase of just such fantastic creativity. So
I think, well, the first book that I was talking about was The Long Road by Stephen Hayden.
Yeah.
And a couple more that I think are really good. Henrik Tuxen has a book here called The More You Need, the Less You Get. It was written kind of in and around Roskilde and how that kind of shaped the guy's mentality. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting read. And then you've got kind of an opinionated version of their history, their timeline by Ronan Givnoy, Not For You, another really interesting book. It's not like a definitive biography, but it's like kind of a DVD commentary version of their history. And it's you don't agree with everything he says, but it's like, oh, I forgot about that story, or I didn't know about that story. So interesting reads.
The only other book that I would add to that is Tanya Kang's Portrait of Pearl Jam fans.
It's over there on the thing. I didn't bring it in my studio, but yes.
Yeah,
Tanya.
that to me, I think is, you know, we talked about the art of Pearl Jam. We talked about the music of Pearl Jam, but you, the fans, are just as an important part of that community and that experience and the magic and the sustainability and the cosmic reach of what the band has produced. And they'll be I would imagine the first ones to say how indebted they are to every one of the listeners. And those fans, I mean, we talk all the time. You know, we've had guests on who have talked all the time about how they found their tribe through Pearl Jam. And if you want to know what that looks like, that is the book to get. So I would add that to the canon of requisite Pearl Jam reading as well. So Tanya, a Santa hat off to you for it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Absolutely.
A few years ago, and that's one of my favorite books to look at.
Reach out to Tanya on her Instagram, Pearl Jam Fan Portraits. I don't know if she still has any copies left to purchase, but if she does, get one. It's got the personal stories in there with the lyrics that everyone has chosen. Every album is accounted for except for Dark Matter, because this took place, it was published before Dark Matter came out. But she's still taking photos. Whenever she goes to shows, she's still taking photos of people with their favorite lyrics. So find her if you're at a show this spring, 2025. Okay, let's do one more, and that's from our friend Stip. We mentioned his book a couple of times. He says, "What is your New Year's resolution for the band?" And I said, is this are we speaking on behalf of the band, or are we just assuming that the band's going to, and he goes, I don't know. You decide. And I'm like, God damn it. All right. I think it's kind of like a prognostication / wishful thinking kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say my New Year's resolution for the band is to continue to push the boundaries and challenge themselves creatively. I think they've done that continually, but I think that they reached a new level with Dark Matter. Not that Lightning Bolt and Gigaton weren't fantastic outputs, but I kind of feel like those two records, how do I say this? You could experience them through a similar vantage point and feel like you came away having a similar understanding of who Pearl Jam is and the music that they make. Dark Matter, they seemed to have been challenged to create music in a very different way. And I think that comes down to process. Like what Josh did with the band with Gigaton was very unique, and it was interesting. And I love the way that he kind of like took their process and just acted as the shepherd and kind of helped that manifest itself.
Yeah.
I think what we saw in Dark Matter was a producer that was just coming at it from a very different, hyper energetic, and there was a whole nother level of like understanding of the band's entire catalog that was brought into that process. And imagine like you just watch him on stage playing with the band, and it just feels like it's almost like it's like living out the dream. Like, yeah, we're making music together, but it was like, I just want to make music with Pearl Jam, and I just want to like get in a room and play with Pearl Jam. And I think that I don't know how that doesn't factor into the calculus of how Dark Matter was created, because if I was in the shoes of how would I not come at it from that from that angle, you know what I mean? So I think the resolution is just to continue to push the envelope and grow as musicians and stay inspired.
I'm going to take that resolution and double down on it and say that take the mindset and the experience that you enjoyed with Andrew and turn it up a notch. You had a great time in those basically 3 weeks. Okay, well, do what Stone said. Go back in before or after the spring shows. Crank out 9 or 10 more songs, and challenge yourselves to put out a record before the end of the year.
Cannot imagine
It could be done if you want it to.
Verses and Vitalogy all over.
Yep. Record it on the road. If the rumors are true and they actually did record something down in Australia, maybe they're taking a cue from 1993-94. Hey, you got to shake things up, right? You can't always do the same thing because you're gonna fall into a rut. It's the reason why they stopped working with Brendan O'Brien, even though they love the guy. You got to kind of change your approach. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Ed sleeping in his truck, even though they're at the site over in Marin County. Like, you've got to shake things up to inspire sometimes. So shake it up further. Go one step further than with what Andrew did and spreading it out over basically 25 months, whatever it was. Knock it out. 9-10 songs, 2 or 3 weeks, and just say, this is it. This is the moment. Boom, out. I challenge you. We do it out of love, Paul.
We do.
This is the end of the road for 2024 in the State of Love and Trust. Oh my goodness. This is episode 239, Paul.
Yeah, but you know what? I recall a similar conversation at the end of 2023 and all the very exciting things that we knew were on the horizon, namely this show with video. And and the plentiful bounty of amazing guests that we were privileged to have talked to this past year. So I guess let's continue to ride that wave of foreshadowing and say 2025 perhaps will portend more promising things to come.
Perhaps Paul is really teasing me to try and say more, but I'm not going to say more. You'll see things happen. Maybe, I don't know. Things are working. There's always things happening under the belly, as it were. Who knows? Where you might find us in 2025. But I assure you, we are chomping at the bit, and the first show of the new year is going to be a live show, January 7th. It's a Tuesday, January 7th, and it is 1 day short of the 30-year anniversary of Self-Pollution Radio. Can you believe that? And we're going to celebrate it with some fantastic guests. I'm not going to say who just yet, but some really fantastic guests and maybe even some musical performances. I don't know. I can't give it all away just yet, Paul.
A State of Love and Trust Pollution Radio?
Yes.
Really?
Can you believe it in the age of the internet?
Love this.
Dave Grohl won't be here singing Foo Fighters songs that haven't existed yet, but it'll be something like that. I don't know. So before we get out of here, when we say our goodbyes, I have to remind you, of course, it is the season of giving. It is the month of giving. Toys for Tots is the fundraiser here in the month of December. So please go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen right now, or there's a link in the description of this podcast or video. It'll send you to our Instagram page, and then you tap on that thing and you send in some money. $5 or more gets you stickers and a pin from us. And if you are the greatest donator, then you shall receive an Eddie Vedder mystery pack of goodies from us to you. And if you'd like to support this show, one way of doing that is through Patreon. You can join our fabulous sub-community, as it were, over on the Discord server. We've been talking about them the entire show. They were basically the impetus of this mailbag. They are amazing people. The Discord's amazing, and so much extra cool content on there too. And the giveaway, Paul, the giveaway every month, right? This month, this guy, the old Record Store Day, Black Friday, 12-inch single, Wreckage and Waiting for Stevie live, could be yours. Any patron, any level is eligible. We'll throw in the slip mat for free. No big deal.
Infidelity to fidelity.
And listen, it is a week before Christmas. I realize that it's late, guys, but if you have friends who are Pearl Jam fans, who are fans of this show, perhaps, you could always go ahead and go to our online shop, get them a mug or a T-shirt or something. We have aprons. Did you know that, Paul? We have aprons.
I'm very excited about the aprons, Jason.
Yeah, you could be cooking your turkey or your
while
duck.
You're listening to a State of Love and Trust podcast episode. You can be cooking that Christmas turkey.
The whole point of this show is just to become KISS and license our name to everything. Keychains. We're gonna have cod pieces at some point. I don't know. Whatever.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Who knows?
What has happened to us?
I don't know. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube, please and thank you. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when these videos come out. If you're old school, audio only, Paul, tell them what they should do.
Well, you should rate, you should review, and you should subscribe on your preferred podcast platform of choice. Feed that algorithm with something other than a lump of coal, because we don't want one, and neither does it. Keep it fed, keep it happy, so we can keep you happy in 2025.
There you go. I'm going to say goodbye to you, goodbye to the new year. I should say the old year, 2024, with a click-clack from my solstice. Oh, there she is. I'm out of my eggnog, White Russians. So we're starting a new.
And as is the Jason custom, you will eventually run out of solstice sometime in June. So
wherever you are in the world, have a fabulous Christmas if that's your thing. Have a fabulous Hanukkah if that's your thing. Have a fabulous Kwanzaa if that's your thing. Have a fabulous Festivus if that's your thing. If you're doing the feats of strength, please film it and send it to me. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. Area of grievances.
Grievances. Who knows? You know what? We'll have some time off. Maybe we'll do a couple little fun things and share some stuff on the old Instagram. We'll see. I don't know.
Paul doesn't know what Instagram is. He's never been on it. He has no idea.
Boy.
But seriously, have a wonderful holiday. We'll pop up online over the next few weeks. Like I said, things are happening. This show is a fucking iceberg, people. It's an iceberg. You see 10%. We love you.
Hey, how about this? How about you just join the Discord and keep the conversation going, and we'll just have a big old party over the holidays. What do you think of that?
That'll be happening the entire time we're on a little bit of a holiday here, a little bit of a break. So, again, happy Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus, happy Hanukkah, happy New Year. We will see you back with this show live January 7th, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Honolulu. And I don't know where else. I can't do math. So I think we're 17 hours behind Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math. We'll see you in a few weeks. Until then, you've been listening to or watching
a very happy holiday and a joyful end to your 2024 from the State of Love and Trust.